أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
الحمد لله ثم الحمد لله. الحمد لله نحمده ونستعين به ونستهديه ونسترشده ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فهو المهتد ومن يضلل فلن تجد له وليا مرشدا. وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن سيدنا محمدا عبده ورسوله خير نبي اجتباه وهدى ورحمة للعالمين أرسله بالهدى ودين الحق ليظهره على الدين كله ولو كره الكافرون. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد كما صليت على سيدنا إبراهيم وعلى آل سيدنا إبراهيم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد كما باركت على سيدنا إبراهيم وعلى آل سيدنا إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد. عباد الله، أوصيكم ونفسي الخاطئة بتقوى الله وأحثكم وإياي على طاعته وأستفتح بالذي هو خير. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. والسارق والسارقة فاقطعوا أيديهما جزاء بما كسبا نكالا من الله والله عزيز حكيم. This ayah is Surah Al-Ma'idah, ayah 38. Allah Azza wa Jalla says what means in English: as for the thief, the male and the female, and you take their hands in recompense for what they committed as a deterrent and punishment from Allah, and Allah is exalted in might and wise. So as hard as a sound, cutting a hand of a thief is horrible, and when they attack the Sharia, they say, look, they cut the hands of the thieves and they stoned the adulterers. Now, think about it differently. What would be the punishment of a nation stealing other nations? Now, the stealing of a nation against another nation, there is a rule in the Quran: follow the rules, and then you will find that that's prevented. It cannot happen. Now my khutbah is, what's the relationship between stealing, central banks, interest, and zakat? What is the relationship between the four of them? Because you have noticed, many of you, and if you haven't you will, especially if you have pension, especially if you have mortgage to pay, especially if you are unemployed and you get a wage, or you are receiving some sort of support of the government, invalidity benefits, income support, whatever it is. Things are not going to get better, they're going to get worse. But the problem is that it didn't start yesterday, it didn't start by the corona, definitely didn't start by Putin, and didn't start after the collapse in 2008 or the collapse in 1929, Great Depression. It started by United States of America in the 19th century. How it started and how Islam can prevent that, they started something called bank. You put your gold in the bank and the vault will keep it safe. They will give you a receipt called bank receipt or bank notes. And you come back with the bank notes and they give you your gold back. Because they deal with interest and they charge interest, they found they have a lot of gold in the vault, they can lend it out. But perhaps the owners of the gold will come back to claim their gold. Their discovery was only 13% will come back to get their gold. And even those who have received and they needed the gold, to cut it short, not go to the bank, they will send the receipt to somebody else. It's a banknote, recognized by the bank. And they kept trading the notes and forgot about the gold. But the bank started lending the gold they have and they don't own. It's not their gold. Some people realized they make interest and said, oh, okay, give us some interest on our gold because you're lending it. And they started giving depositors interest on the gold. And when that went for most of the 19th century and into the 20th century, and they replaced the banknote with standardized notes, a green one, many of you know it, so probably used it, called dollar. Knowing the trick, they keep the gold, so instead of allowing you to have your own dollar or your own pound or euro or sterling or lira or whatever you want to call it, from that time until 1971, they were accepting from you gold to sell you things, but they would pay you dollar to buy from you until the dollar became gold by itself. The gold gone out of the mine. But the stealing started in massive by everybody from 1971. At the beginning, America was selling you with gold, and they buy from you with the dollar, but then they were printing the dollar. Who knows that they are printing them? They think that's equal to the gold they have. It didn't. So in 1965, Charles de Gaulle discovered America have only $85 billion worth of gold, but they printed $1 trillion. There's around 60 trillion now. They printed $1 trillion, so they had 900 billion and 915 billion would go for Khutbah. 1965, Charles de Gaulle discovered that. I said, no. I will only send you gold, I take from you gold. This is your dollar, send me my gold. Triggered international problem. Until 1971, Richard Nixon said, we're not going to exchange our dollar for gold, tough. And the gold price went from $35 an ounce to $80 an ounce overnight. Now what happened? Every country learned, the genius ones of them in that country learned to come print paper money. The majority of people, 99.9999 are idiots. They don't know what's going on. So the price of their pound, dollar, euro, junet, ruble, whatever it is, keep going down and down and down. Now, Islam has a lot of things to stop that happening. Allah Azza wa Jal said, first, السارق والسارقة, I didn't mention, they steal, then you need to cut the hand of America, USA, how going to do it? Now you need to cut the hand of majority of the leaders in the world, stealing the value of their money, of their people. I used to exchange a pound for 8 Syrian pounds, now the pound, 5,300 Syrian pounds. Although the pound is low comparing to the dollar, but the dollar is much low comparing to the gold. $35 an ounce now, it's $1,670 an ounce. Islam cut it short. How? ما أفاء الله على رسوله من أهل القرى فلله وللرسول ولذي القربى واليتامى والمساكين وابن السبيل, and that's the ayah. كي لا يكون دولة بين الأغنياء منكم وما آتاكم الرسول فخذوه وما نهاكم عنه فانتهوا واتقوا الله إن الله شديد العقاب. So the ayah can be translated into English in order that it may not merely make a certain. Now if we start from the beginning of the ayah. And what Allah restored on His messenger from the people of the towns, it is for Allah and His messenger, and for near relatives, orphans, and travelers, in order that it may not merely circuit between the wealthy among you. So when you take the zakah, or you take the income from oil, gold, whatever it is, aluminium, or whatever comes to the government, it has to be redistributed among the people. And why? To stop the money only circulating between the rich of you. So when government started printing money, you're not going to get it. There's fight to get 2% wage increase or 5%, and they were managing, some of them barristers, because they know the system, 15%, still 15%. But the rich are getting, we looked into the top chief executive officer's income last year was 20 million. It's quite a lot of money. But the average income for the rich people were 255 million. The money keeps circulating between the rich because majority of people are not aware what's going on. So, يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وذروا ما بقي من الربا. Fear Allah Azza wa Jalla and leave whatever is still there of the interest of riba. You stop banks lending money they don't have to earn interest they don't deserve. To stop the money, when the bank lend money, you're not going to get it. You'll be lucky if you get 3 times your wage. But those who will get this extra money are the super rich and the rich. If this school is for sale for £1 million or £5 million, or expensive now, I can't phone them and make a bid. When I tried to bid for the church in Bentley Heath, they wanted all the money be in my account, in our account, in our association before we bid. Or at least 10% they can't take to themselves and kick me out. But I can't have 500,000 to bid for the school. Who will? If Alan Sugar make a phone to them, or Elon Musk now, or Jeff Bezos or whatever, oh yeah, it's okay, it's yours, don't worry. They will lend him. When Elon Musk wanted to buy Twitter, they gave him, in one go, one bank gave him $7.5 billion loan. Just like this. Walid ibn Talal gave him $1.5 billion. Ask Walid ibn Talal, say we have to build a hospital in the middle of Somalia. If you get £5 from him, you'll be lucky. So Islam, to stop government printing money, you can't give money you don't have, you can't cheat people and steal them, but you're not stealing their bucket, you're stealing the value of the money in their bucket. And that happened to the pound last week and the week before. I said to many of us, I didn't see our Prime Minister have any knowledge about economy, and I'm a psychiatrist, I'm not an economist. But what I know of economy, she will make a mess out of it, and she did. And the pound dropped from 1.18 to 1.3. The value of your money dropped by 15% overnight. Allah Azza wa Jalla said, وَلْتَكُمْ مِنْكُمْ أُمَّةٌ يَأْمُرُونَ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ وَيَنْهَوْنَ عَنِ الْمُنْكَرِ وَيُؤْمِنُونَ بِاللَّهِ وَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْمُفْلِحُونَ. He didn't say one of you should go and order the good. He said, Ummah, a nation of you. I've been hearing a lot of super rich telling people, you're losing the value of your money, you're going to become super poor. you will be losing everything. And some of those are lessons actually, multi-billionaires. They're not like me and you, and I don't know about you, but I know about me. Like Ray Dalio, 160 billion worth. Like Peter Schiff, 100 billion worth. Like Warren Buffett, 80 billion worth. Like Jim Rogers, he's I don't know how much he is, but he's one of the top 5 rich. Richard Rickards, he was the head of CIA. Then he found out they're playing trick on everybody. He said, actually, I heard him, if the Gulf and Saudi wants to sell petrol for other than the dollar, we will invade them. Because they have to keep the dollar out. They buy a lot, they sell few. The dollar will go down. Now looking at Britain, what's going to happen to the pound? Because people start selling their bonds. The central bank said, I can buy some, I'm not going to buy everything. When a lot of people sell their bonds, the value of the pound will be 5 cents. All of us will be much poorer. So, فإن لم تفعلوا, if you don't stop interest, فأذنوا بحرب من الله ورسوله. So if you don't do, Allah will fight you and His Messenger. In other way, as zakah, you take 2.5% of the wealth of the wealthy every year. You don't need to print money. You don't need to cheat people. You don't need to make them lose the value of the money. You take their money back to them, their money every single year. Imagine 2.5% with the world worth, those who have liquid money, is 530 trillion. 530. So how many trillion you take and bring it back to the community? You pay for hospital costs, elderly care, and schools and colleges and infrastructure. And you save a lot of people money going private to treat themselves, paying fees for students and this and that. Zakah will sort it out, but can't be done by 1 or 2 people. The alarm is sounded by these rich people. They can reach any news, any media. I was listening to Ray Dalio talking just half an hour. I won doesn't time. Allah Azza wa Jalla said, وَلْتَكُمْ مِنْكُمْ أُمَّةٌ. A group of people have to shout at the same time. Fellow educated. Deen is how to exchange things. You exchange this life here for Jannah, and you exchange your money for reward from Allah Azza wa Jalla. You exchange money, for gold, for goods, for services. But we need people to be educated and go and teach. Or those super rich talking about it. Jim Roger was talking this morning, saying that it's coming, going to be super poor, all of you. There's a lot of countries crashed now. Not by war, by poverty. No money, no fuel, no liquidity. As zakah will build you up, will grow your wealth, will grow your... Because why? You're getting 2.5% of the total capital to invest in the community, 2.5% every year. Forget the tax. Tax doesn't work. Pay as you earn. This billionaire said, I earned only 100 quid last year. Okay, pay £2.50. Well, he doesn't pay actually because he's below the threshold. And he keeps the 120 trillion. So that's whether Muslims wake up and take the initiative or not, I don't know. I heard somebody saying that, probably this might end like this because other people here, they are busy with LGBT and they're busy with their nightclubs and they're busy with this and busy with that. But people who are stealing countries had to be brought into account. Cutting the hand, it's harsh. Cutting the hand of countries, achievable. If you don't pay 2.5% of your wealth to us, we will not buy from BT, we'll go to Virgin Media, we will not buy from Sainsbury, we will go to CNA, there's no CNA now. We will go to Tesco. If we don't buy from John Lewis, we will go to Marks and Spencer, whatever. People have to be genius enough to create larger group. Probably Ray Dalio might be listened by a few people, but if 20 of us stand in the high street tomorrow, we will make news. If there's 100 of us, we'll make news. But we don't want to lose the value of our pound. Thank you very much. We lost 15% of the value of our pound And they're saying, we'll give you the nurses 5% wage increase. At least give me the value of my money. When I took my job in 1983, the value of my money was 46 ounces of gold. My last job was 79,000. The value of my money would have been 560 if they kept giving me the 46 ounces all my life as a doctor, from first day to last day. The last day, if they gave me 46 ounces of gold, I will exchange it for 460,000 pounds at that time. It now will be around $1 million. So they're cheating the idiots. And unfortunately, most of the world people are in it. Because they are not claiming the value of their money. Your wage when you started 30 years ago, I spoke to a judge from Syria. I said, how much your wage was? He took the job in 1954. He said, so and so much. How much that will buy you? How much green melon will buy you? Green melon. How much this will buy you now? He was getting 12,000 when I saw him. He said, if they gave me the same amount of green melon, or honeycomb, if you like, honeycomb melon, it will be 120,000. He will sell the melon for 120,000. Forget your 112,000. How come I can't? الحمد لله نحمده ونستعين به ونستهديه ونسترشده ونعوذ بالله من شرور انفسنا ومن سيئات اعمالنا من يهده الله فهو المهتد ومن يضلل فلن تجد له واشهد ان سيدنا محمدا عبده ورسوله خير نبي اجتباه وهدى ورحمه للعالمين ارسله بالهدى ودين الحق ليظهره على الدين كله ولو كره الكافرون. I started talking about the subject in 2016. And people had interest rate 1%, 2%. Now they will start shouting. There's now 6%, 10%, 10.5%. There is a lot of money flooding into the market. Bonds going to be sold and things. Now, we can still form a group about the economy, macroeconomy. But tonight we're going to talk about depression. It's different things. And I had a survey sent and had 43 reply. And subhanAllah, around half of those who replied are very depressed. They need treatment. So you need knowledge. So you need to come and get educated. And I need people to educate as well, because it's not me only. We know what he's talking about, so forget it. Go to. I want to mention to some also parents, I've sent homework by text message. Only 25% of my students replied. It only takes 2 minutes. Only his father, click link, answer, help your son, get it right. What's happening to the Muslim community? 25% answering homework online. 11 questions take 2 minutes. Take a week to reply. اللهم اغفر للمؤمنين والمؤمنات المسلمين والمسلمات الأحياء منهم والأموات. اللهم أرنا الحق حقا وارزقنا اتباعه وأرنا الباطل باطلا وارزقنا اجتنابه. اللهم آت نفوسنا تقواها وزكها أنت خير من زكاها أنت وليها مولاها ونعم المولى ونعم النصير والحمد لله رب العالمين.
الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح قامت الصلاة قامت الصلاة الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
دائما لا إله إلا الله لا شريك له استووا بالصلاة الحمد لله استووا لا تختلفوا وتابني ورحمكم الله. الله أكبر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين ولتكن منكم أمة يأمرون بالمعروف وينهون عن المنكر ويؤمنون بالله ولتكن منكم أمة يأمرون بالمعروف وينهون عن المنكر ويؤمنون بالله. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله الذي أنزل على عبده الكتاب ولم يجعل له عوجا قيما لينذر بأسا شديدا من لدنه ويبشر المؤمنين الذين يعملون الصالحات أن لهم أجرا حسنا ماكثين فيه أبدا. اللهم سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. ولتكن منكم أمة يأمرون بالمعروف وينهون عن المنكر ويسارعون ويؤمنون بالله وأولئك هم المفلحون. ولا تكونوا كالذين تفرقوا واختلفوا من بعد ما جاءتهم البينات وأولئك لهم عذاب عظيم. يوم تبيض وجوه وتسود وجوه فأما الذين اسودت وجوههم أكفرتم بعد إيمانكم فذوقوا العذاب بما كنتم تكفرون. وأما الذين ابيضت وجوههم ففي رحمة الله هم فيها خالدون. الله سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. استغفر الله العظيم الذي لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم وأتوب إليه. استغفر الله العظيم الذي لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم وأتوب إليه. استغفر الله العظيم الذي لا إله إلا هو